Hi everybody, so today we're going to do a quick little ab series that focuses on lengthening the hip flexors while we're engaging the abdominals. So love traditional Pilates mat work, but sometimes what happens is, especially if you're already kind of tight in your hip flexors, is it can sort of jack up your hip flexors even more. So we're going to play with the traditional series of 5 from the mat work and kind of come up with some creative ways to find more length through the front of the hip and protect the low back a little bit more. All right, let's get started. So we're going to come down onto our mats. I'm just going to start by lengthening my legs out long. I'm just kind of assessing how my body feels in this lengthened place. So is my pelvis really tucked? Do my ribs want to flare? I'm just going to see if I can find that nice balanced place where my ribs are pretty much in line with my hip points, but the backs of my thighs are on the mat. So that's going to be important for this series. So we want to avoid that place. We're kind of tucking the hips up and having space between the backs of the legs and the mat. So I'm just going to stay here for a second and feel that length. I'm just going to warm up a little bit with some arm arcs. I'm going to take the arms up, take an exhale, draw the arms back as the ribs go down, feeling that length through the front of the body. Feeling how my back of the body is supported by the floor. Inhale, arms back up. Just 2 more. Exhale. Inhale, arms up. I'm thinking about drawing my ribs down as my arms go back so I get a nice stretch through my armpits and my lats. And arms back up. So next I'm going to take my arms behind my head. I'm just going to start with some simple ab curls. Nodding the chin to the chest. I'm going to curl my head, neck, and shoulders up, and I'm going to notice that place where my hips want to tuck under, and I'm going to stop there and release back down. Again, just 2 more. Exhale, curl. So working this way, you might find that you don't feel like you curl up quite as high as you're accustomed to. So if your upper ab curl kind of always by default incorporates a tuck of the pelvis and sort of a thrust of the pelvis and the hip flexors, let's do one more. You got a bonus one in there while I was talking. You might be a little humbled by the range in your thoracic spine and release down. Okay, from there I'm going to draw my legs in. I'm just going to kind of shift my upper body so I'm a little more comfortable. I'm going to draw one leg at a time up into tabletop. And again, I know sometimes this can be a challenging position to maintain neutral with both legs up, but we're not going to be letting the legs kind of dance around in space. We're really going to be using the floor for support. So for this, I'm going to take my hand to the back of my thigh. Normally we pull one knee into the chest, but I'm going to use the pressure of the back of the thigh into the hand. That's going to be a theme for this series. I'm going to curl the head, neck, and shoulders up, and then I'm going to slide the other leg long on the mat, trying to find and kiss the back of my thigh to the floor and come up and then switch. So I'm going to move a little slower than maybe we do in a traditional series of 5. And you can see that I'm going to start to play with my foot position, so it kind of feels good for me to flex my foot. I'm going to go for about 5 or 6 on each side repetitions. So what I'm doing is I'm maintaining my ab curl, but I'm keeping whatever leg is up in tabletop pushing into my hand. So that helps to connect the back of the leg, which will help release your hip flexors. And then I'm really using the drag of the foot on the floor to help find that length in the front of the pelvis. As per usual, I lost count. So let's just finish out this last set doing 1 more on each side. Come in, knees into chest and relax. Okay, second set, double leg stretch. So I'm going to curl up. Okay, I'm going to see if I can maintain that nice neutral spine. I'm going to let my feet fall to the floor. I'm going to swim my arms back, keeping my curl, and then I'm going to pull from the back of the leg as my knees come back in. Again, about 6 of these. So if you're feeling really sassy today and you want to go a little faster and do the traditional 10, totally fine. But I'm going to be a little more mellow. I'm going to do 4 more. So I'm trying to find the connection of the back of the leg to the mat. Keeping my ab curl, chin into chest just lightly. I'm holding a little kumquat, little apricot. Let's do 1 more. And come back in and rest. Okay, single leg kicks. We're going to come back up, extend. Okay, so same idea. I'm feeling flexible enough in the backs of my legs today where I can hold on to my calf, but you can also hold on to the back of your thigh. I'm gonna push that leg in and just go up and down 5 times on my free leg. 5. So it's interesting, I'm actually feeling this more in the back of my right leg, firing up that hamstring, feeling the connection all the way from the back of my leg to my foot. I do one more. I'm just going to switch to the other side. I'm going to push and back in. So I have a pesky little snapping hip on my right side. My right psoas gets very tight. So I'm just finding that leg really close, hugging into the midline and playing with the rotation of the femur bone. There we go. So I had to do a little internal rotation for it to feel nice and glidey. Good. And 1, and back in. Okay, that one where both legs go up and down. Oh no. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my hands like a little diamond underneath my sacrum. I'm gonna keep my knees bent. I'm gonna hug my feet together. My knees are slightly separated. I'm just gonna go down and up. So with the pelvis slightly elevated, it does a couple things. One, it kind of sends a signal to your low back that it's a little safer, a little more comfortable. But it also just gently gives a slightly different lever position to the hips. So what I'm focusing on, even though you can see I'm not going all the way down, is that I'm trying to disassociate my femur bone from my pelvis. I'm really trying to open up through the front of the hip, even though I'm not going into a fully extended position. Ribs are dropping. This is also a nice place because I can sort of feel if there's something funky happening with my sacrum. I'm gonna do a few more repetitions. So right now I can kind of feel like there's more weight on my left side of my sacrum. So I'm gonna see if I can even the squish with my hands. My hands are giving me some feedback here. Okay, hips up, coming out. Legs in tabletop again. This time my hands are gonna come behind my head. Interlace the fingers, and then you can gently pull the fingers apart, which will widen the upper back. I'm gonna find my upper ab curl. Keeping the right leg into tabletop, I'm gonna go ahead and slide the left leg long. Try to rotate my upper body all the way over to the right and come back to center. Slide the right leg long. I'm gonna try to find the back of my right side of the mat. Oh, it's hard. And back up. And rotate. And up. And rotate. And up. And I can feel a little bit of the restriction in the front of the hips. So if I were to continue on with this workout, I might find some little bridging sequence or some tush work to do. Be a good little continuation. Or if you're short on time, just get your abs fired up and go about your day. Last one. And in, and then I'm just gonna finish how we started. The backs of my legs are finding the floor a little bit easier. I can feel a little more length in the front of my body. And there we go. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. See you next time. Bye.